Hi, my name's Kathy, and I've been on a carnivore journey that I want to share with you. I've been overweight since I was a child, been on all kinds of diets. I usually do great to start, but then I gain more than I lost. I dieted off and on all the way up to 520 pounds at my heaviest. At one point, I thought plant based or whole foods was the answer, and looking back, it was just very high carbs. I know now that carbs are the poison that feed my tumors. I have had or do have stage 4 lipedema and lymphedema. Lipedema is called painful fat, and some describe it as a genetic disease that turns normal fat into fibrous, thready scar tissue. I was growing what I call tumors or fibrotic lumps of fat, lipomas, in my legs. In August of 2022, I was very close to bedridden. All kinds of issues. The list is so long. Some of the big things were constant sinus infections, debilitating back pain, leg pain, knee pain, losing my mobility. I would get stuck in chairs and have trouble standing up. It was a miracle I was able to still work. I worked from home on a computer all day, which was just a few feet from my bed. Not able to wear shoes. My feet were so swollen and painful. I could no longer drive. It was just too dangerous. I couldn't fit in the driver's seat, and I had numbness in my legs and so much pain. It just hurt too much to even push the brake pedal. And then there were migraines and depression, anxiety, kidney issues, sleep apnea. I kept trying to find a doctor that would help with the lipedema, thinking lipedema was the cause of the leg pain and the loss of mobility, and the only answer seemed to be to have surgery to remove the lumps. But I was too fat for surgery, way over the BMI limit. And then the advice was to use compression and try an anti-inflammatory diet, which seemed to just be more plant-based. My lumps were so huge, I couldn't even fit into compression. In 2022, I'd given up. I was not even trying to eat healthy. I was sure I was dying soon, hoping every day I would die. I moved in with my sister and her family, and she was taking care of me. If not for her, I would have been in a nursing home. I sold my home in Ohio, had my will prepared. I was hoping I would die soon. The pain was just too much. I know God loves me. He sent his son to die for me, and I know that I'm a sinner. I'm saved by grace alone, by faith through Christ. And I thought that someday God would heal me, but it would have to be through physical death here on earth when he took me home. I trusted his word that the penalty for my sin was paid on the cross when Christ died and rose again. Death was going to be a blessing. I never could have imagined the healing that he did for me these past 16 months on carnivore. Stay tuned for more. So, I never would have thought I could do carnivore. I was such a carbohydrate addict, that is. I loved pizza, pasta, bread, all kinds of breads. Fresh Italian bread was my favorite. And then there was ice cream, chocolates, and candy. Even when trying to be healthy, it was still carbs. I would eat a 5-grain oatmeal with almond milk and lots of fruit. I've heard that's more sugar than a candy bar. I would take frozen bananas and make them into a healthy soft serve ice cream. I had myself convinced the only relief from horrible migraines was peanut M&Ms. And they did work for a little bit. And then they were low in salt, so it was okay. On August 19th, 2022, I was spending the evening hours lying in bed, crying out to God to please take me. That was my usual daily thing. I spent a lot of time lying in bed crying. The pain was so bad. Then God led me to a video named the BBBE Challenge. It was Dr. Ken Berry. And when I saw the BBBE video, I thought Dr. Berry was crazy. It was so opposite of everything I've ever been told about nutrition, and so upside down about everything I've ever been told about staying with no salt or low salt way of eating for the lipedema and the lymphedema. And then when I watched that, I thought, if I eat that much red meat, I'll have a heart attack and die. But then I thought, if it kills me, that would be a blessing. So I started that day not knowing there were other videos saying to lower your carbs or to ease into it. I thank God that he led me to that specific video. It was the best thing for my carb addiction. Later, I found Dr. Cyrus. He's the carb addiction doc. His carb addiction videos really helped me understand addiction, and I watched a ton of videos on YouTube with Dr. Berry, Dr. Chafee, Dr. Baker, Dr. Cyrus, Sean Intentional Carnivore. Ferrigno Freedom, Larry and Cassie from Carnivore Quest, Homestead How, Carnivorous Me, Kelly Hogan. I joined a Facebook group called Carnivore Quest Community, but I thank God for Dr. Berry. I know God used him to save my life. I've learned I'm not a moderator. I can't do less of the poison, the sugar and the carbs that are poison to me. And also, they were a drug to me. I need to abstain from all forms of drugs or carbohydrates. Like you would never tell an alcoholic just to drink less or a drug addict just to moderate their addiction. I need to completely abstain. It's really hard for some people to get that, but for me, it makes life so much easier. The choice is simple. I don't even have to think about what to eat. It's just beef, butter, bacon, and eggs. The first weeks, my meals were huge. I can remember up to a pound of ground beef and 8 eggs or a pound of bacon, but I didn't get hungry as often. And it seemed too easy to only eat 2 times a day in a 6-hour time period, which was part of Dr. Berry's challenge. It was easy not to eat, which is crazy for me, but I was not hungry as often. For the first few weeks, there were cravings and withdrawal symptoms, just like any addiction. But the meals were so huge, it was really not a big temptation. And the weight came off so fast, the swelling went way down so fast. I did have the carnivore flu for about 6 weeks, but I was dropping weight so fast I really didn't care. I'd already been in the habit of weighing myself daily, and that was from having sepsis in 2012. I was watching for any large weight gains, as that would be a sign of the infection or the cellulitis coming back. And I monitored that closely, along with any open sores or wounds in my legs and feet and toes. I was paranoid about infections. The sepsis almost killed me 10 years ago. So I was down 23 pounds the first month, and 10 pounds the second month. The first 90-day challenge, down a total of 45 pounds. And this was amazing and so easy. It's not a diet. There's no restrictions on the amount of food you eat, no calorie counting, no measuring, no hard choices about what to eat, because it's just the 4 things: beef, butter, bacon, eggs. And later on, I tried experimenting several times actually with cheese and some no-carb vegetables, but every time they caused either a gain or a stall in the weight loss and increased my pain. So I learned quickly it was not worth it. I did not do a very good job journaling. I'm not a disciplined person at all. I did find I recorded within those 90 days that on day 3, that's when I first noticed there was not as much pain. And I was not super hungry. It seemed easier to take care of myself. On day 5, I felt like I had the flu. And day 9, I wrote that I got a stomach ache and I was fatigued and felt bloated, but the swelling in my legs was way down, so it was worth it. Day 10, I made it through an entire day without taking ibuprofen. I had been taking it 24/7, the maximum dose. On day 14, I noticed I was sleeping better. And day 18, I was able to put shoes on, but it was really painful. Then skip to day 65. That's when I first noticed that I wasn't having headaches or migraines anymore, and the kidney issues were resolved. And I didn't have sores on my legs anymore. And day 72, I drove a van myself, drove myself to a doctor's appointment. I made my own bed. The lumps in my legs were half the size. I walked into church without a walker, and the depression and anxiety seemed gone. The second 90 days brought me to a total of 80 pounds off, and in 6 months, 104 pounds in 8 months. Then we moved into a new home. I was feeling so great. I had been walking with a walker for 30 minutes at a time with minimal pain. I way overdid it on moving day, and I think I pinched a nerve in my back. I had numbness from my abdomen down to the inside of my thighs and knees, and this was a real setback. I lost some of that newly gained mobility, and I got sidetracked with doctor's visits and a neurologist who thought I should be eating rice. I did not take his advice. Finally, I found a chiropractor who diagnosed and treated the issue, and it took 3 months for the numbness in my legs to go away. At 1 year, I was down 149 pounds. I had often been discouraged seeing so many people post, especially on the lipedema Facebook groups, that their pain went away so quickly, and mine did not. It got better, but not that much. So in the 11th or 12th month, I was watching a Michaela Peterson video and I switched over to beef only. I was able to do that for 2 weeks at a time, and finally the pain in my legs got so much better. I think I feel the best and lose the most on beef only. I wrote in my journal on day 389 that after 15 days of beef only, the pain was so much less in my legs. Like I said, I'm not a disciplined person. I want to stick to beef and salt only, but it seems that every other week I eat other things, but still just those four: beef, butter, bacon, and eggs. So day 470 was on December 1st of this year, 2023, and I reached 200 pounds down. I know sometimes I focus on the weight loss because I love the numbers, but the real healing was all of these other things. No more needing ibuprofen 24/7. No more sleep apnea. I don't need a CPAP anymore. No more migraines, depression. No more constant sinus infections. No more anxiety and panic attacks. Kidney issues gone. Not needing to find a bathroom every 20 minutes. The cracking dry feet finally resolved. Skin sores gone. No more infections in my legs. The constant fungal infections from being so overweight, no more. Got rid of acne and pimples. No more bad breath and bleeding gums. I had some small cavities that just disappeared. No more heartburn, gas, and bloating. Gone. Brain fog gone. Mental exhaustion, not a thing anymore. Being super stressed out all the time, nope. Extreme fatigue and drowsiness during the day, gone. No more need to lay in bed for half the day. The cravings for sweets are gone. And debilitating low back pain, resolved. Excruciating knee pain, gone. My largest bowling ball size hard tumor in my right thigh is about the size of my hand now, and it's soft. I'm hoping it will completely go away without surgery. Some of those other tumors in my legs are completely gone, and one of the larger ones in my calf is just a soft, sagging skin now. So overall, I'd say the pain is reduced about 90%, including the knee pain. I can move and be active without having, active enough to get sore muscles, but I can recover within a day. Before carnivore, I'd be down for weeks if I overdid it. I can comfortably fit in a car again and drive a car again. I can drive at night. I had not been able to drive at night for years. I really believe my vision has improved. I can take care of myself now, no nursing home needed. I not only wear shoes, but I can put them on myself. I can stand and move and work for up to 3 hours at a time, help around the house. I love doing dishes and laundry. I walk without a walker. I can fit in a chair with arms. You'd have to be hundreds of pounds overweight to understand that one. I could not fit in a chair with arms. They were never wide enough for me. The pain of being in pain and in a place where you could not sit down and just looking for some wall space that you can lean on. I walked into a dentist office and that happened, and I was fighting back the panic attack. And then I thought, just let me try sitting on the edge of the seat. And then I fit. I couldn't believe it. And it's taking my brain a lot longer to catch up with the changes in my body. Like looking for that close parking space when you're going shopping, thinking that I just have to go home because I couldn't find a handicap space available or couldn't find a space close enough to park. And then remembering, wait, I can walk now. I don't need it. Or turning sideways when you go through a doorway. Or ordering wheelchair assistance, but then finding I'm able to walk through the airport myself, no assistance needed. I was able to travel on a plane again. And then the lab work has been great. My A1C was down to 4.6. I'm so much more productive and so much less stressed. And at least I'm handling stress better. And those things seem to come after switching over to mainly beef only. Then this is just the beginning. I've only been doing this for 16 months. I know I have a long way to go. I need to gain strength to be able to step up steps again. I'm still not able to do that without holding on to something and pulling myself up. I've got at least 50 more pounds to lose to make it to my first goal. My first goal is just to weigh under 200 pounds. And then I'll see from there what the next goal is. But I have hope. I wish everyone could know that lipedema, even stage 4, can be reversed without surgery. And beef only, that way of eating, it really does reverse or heal, or at least put into remissions autoimmune issues, and it reduces pain. And salt is good. I've had more salt this past year than I've had my entire life. I love the Redmond's Real Salt and their smoked salt, and I really love the Redmond's Salt Rocks. God has really changed me over these first 16 months using carnivore. He gave me hope again. He's clearing my mind of the depression and anxiety. And for the longest time, I was so terrified I'd mess up or fall back into the carb addiction. I kept thinking I'd do something wrong. It just seemed too good to be true, too easy. Like there was more that I needed to do. This couldn't possibly be happening. The weight just coming off so fast when I was eating until I was full. That's part of Dr. Berry's challenge. She always says to eat till you're comfortably stuffed. That sounds insane to a person that's 450 plus pounds. Even today, when I weigh myself, I take a picture of the number on the scale. It seems so hard to believe. I do still weigh every day. I love the numbers, love seeing them go down. And if they don't go down on a day, I just try to figure out what I did differently. And most of the time, it's nothing. It's just my body healing and the scale not moving, but the clothes are still getting looser. I have a hard time when people say to me that I have great discipline or I've worked so hard or I should be proud of myself. I just can't communicate enough how that is just not the case. This is not a diet. I'm eating till I'm comfortably stuffed. I don't starve myself or deprive myself. When I'm hungry, I eat. I don't count calories or measure things. God does the healing. It's not hard at all. Hard is being in so much pain, losing my mobility, praying every day God would take me. That's hard. Once I got through those first few weeks, the carb cravings went away. Eating carnivore is not hard. I get to eat delicious steak every day. I get to eat till I'm full. I never felt full my entire life until carnivore. Before carnivore, I could eat till my stomach hurt and still be so hungry. I was hungry all the time. But now I can feel full and satisfied. People say, don't you get tired of eating the same thing? No, I don't. Every meal tastes so good, and every meal tastes different. My theory on that is that I'm truly hungry. That's why it tastes so good. Real food, beef, is the medicine that God is using to heal my body and take the pain away. It's not hard medicine to take. I know many people say that carnivore helps with depression and anxiety, but I know it's God that does the healing. God has transformed my mind through His Word. He created us. If we give our bodies the proper nutrition, which I believe He intended for us to do, then we can heal. David wrote in Psalm 103, verses 2 through 5, which I take as my carnivore praise. It says, "Let all that I am praise the Lord. With my whole heart I will praise His holy name. Let all that I am praise the Lord. May I never forget the good things He does for me. He forgives all my sins and heals all my diseases. He redeems me from death and crowns me with love and tender mercies. He fills my life with good. My youth is renewed like the eagles." I didn't do this alone. God put me in a church where I hear His word proclaimed every week, several times a week, where I'm loved and accepted no matter where I am on my journey. I joined the Carnivore Quest Facebook group. I watch the YouTube lives where you can ask questions and hear questions answered. I see an excellent massage therapist, a great chiropractor, and recently been able to get into a heated pool where I was able to actually exercise for the first time for 45 minutes to an hour at a time. When I started, my sister supported me. She was pre-diabetic and read a book on how they treat people with type 2 diabetes before insulin was a thing. It was basically low carb. She didn't join me on BBBE carnivore, but she does more of a ketovore. It's working for her, I think, just not as fast. My nephew, who's 17 and a senior in high school, he's lost 125 pounds with BBBE. I kind of bribed him to do it at first. I offered him money for college if he would do it for 90 days. He just completed his second 90-day challenge, and he's down 125 pounds. Excuse me. So I don't think he needs me to bribe him anymore. He has his own fitness goals now, as well as weight goals. And another nephew who lives in Colorado has been trying BBBE, beef, butter, bacon, and eggs. And he was able to get help with back pain that his doctor told him that he'd not be able to get rid of. He's also finding more confidence and losing his social anxiety, as well as losing weight. And two others in the house here are trying carnivore, but not beef, butter, bacon, and eggs. They're adding in cheese and other things that I just can't. I personally can't do that. Cheese is really addicting to me. It stalls my weight loss, and I have the same issue with sausage or pepperoni or the hamburger patties from Costco or Sam's Club. I can't quite figure that out. There has to be something in there, maybe the spices they use, but something causes me to gain and hurt more. So they taste so good, but I pay for it for a week after eating them. So no thank you, lesson learned. I stick mainly to beef. Ribeye or T-bone are my favorite. I watch for sales and stock up the freezer. And even with the price increases in food, my food budget is about 25% less now than before carnivore. I think because I eat so much less than before. I do OMAD now, which is 1 meal a day. And once or twice a month on the weekend, I'll have 2 meals. The transition to 1 meal a day, that didn't happen until about 6 or 8 months in. I took the advice I heard online from former binge eaters to not force it. Don't force fasting. Let it happen naturally. Always eat when you're hungry, and just I just don't get hungry as often now. I feel the best on 1 meal a day of beef and salt only. I just so much want everyone to know that there is hope and there is healing. Even if you're in so much pain and praying to die, it does not matter how addicted you are to carbohydrates. You can do this. Take the challenge, even if you need to start for just 30 days. Proper nutrition is the best medicine, and it works. No matter what weight you are, just stop dieting. Don't let your change to let your body heal with the proper nutrition. Let beef be your medicine. I've always believed if you're in pain, there's a reason for that pain. It's not normal. It's not normal to lose your mobility or to be so stressed out or anxious or depressed. It's not normal. It's not a normal growing old thing. I really believe the pain in our bodies is a response to all the poisons in our highly processed, high carbohydrate excuse for food. There is hope, though. There is healing in the power, and there's hope, there is healing in the proper human diet. So I truly believe eating carnivore is the proper human way of eating for me. The lion or sticking to the beef or salt only, that works the best and is the easiest for me. I know Dr. Berry explains that there is a proper human diet is a spectrum. There are some people that can do keto and they're at their best. But I think if you're in pain or if you have health issues or you're struggling with addiction, take the challenge. Try the beef, butter, bacon, and eggs carnivore. It will be so worth it. Thanks for listening.